You're welcome back, and this is TV3 New Day. It's good to know that you're still here with us. Thank you so much, and good morning to you. You can join us on social media. Facebook, we're streaming live at TV3 Ghana. You can find us on Twitter and Instagram, and DSTV channel 279. And very shortly, we'll get into our conversation for the big issue. It is Thursday morning, and so it's the time for women to also share their views and opinions on very important issues. But even before that, remember to play Cash Out. Don't forget, it's *439#. Play and win. We're giving 2,000 Ghana cedis today as well to about 4 of you. And so remember to play *439#, select option 2, and you have to be an MTN subscriber to be able to play this. So all the best to you. But I want you to also save the date and come let us have fun together with friends and loved ones at the Airport West Hotel while we sip and paint. It's something I've always wanted to do, and I think I'll be there. The Art Therapy program comes off on Saturday, the 28th of October, 2023 at the Airport West Hotel, and it's going for just 220 Ghana cedis per head. You get a package that comes with complimentary drinks and finger foods. And so if you're interested, like I am, if you want to book or make some further inquiries, please call these numbers: 020-433-9005 or 050-163-4238. Make sure you call those numbers. Let me just mention them again: 020-433-9005 or 0501-63-4238. Come and let's network and socialize. Remember, it's happening at the Airport West Hotel, where passion for excellence delivers you that service that you require. But also, we're playing Dewa, and we want you to win as much as possible. And so win big cash every day with the Dewa 539 Direct. Is the best lotto game in Ghana. Double your chances of winning every day by playing Dewa Chop Money to win at 10 a.m. every morning and every evening at 7. So you can also play Sunday Special exclusively on Sundays and win big at 6 p.m. All you have to do is to dial *446# and select option 2 to play Dewa Chop Money, or option 1 to play for the evening draw. It's very easy to win, so you just have to pick the numbers between 1 and 39, and you can win 20 times with Direct 1, 40 times with Direct 2, 400 times with Direct 3, and 5,000 times with Direct 4, and 50,000 times with Direct 5. Just dial *446# now, and if you want to ask any more details, please call these numbers: 055-625-9249 or 053 247-9879. Dewa Afa. Anyway, let's go into our conversation. Let me introduce you to our guest this morning. We're expecting 2 guests on the show. We only have 1 at the moment. Beatrice Annan Esquire. She's a member of the NDC's legal team, and she joins us. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
Bella. Oh, Bella, I'm good.
Where's your sister today?
Oh, I'm sure she's on her way.
She's on her way. But have you had a good week?
Oh, well, this week I haven't really been to town. This is my first time. Now I live at a place where my roads are just terrible. I've been to the workshop twice already in the week.
Wow. In a week?
Yes. The roads are so terrible that...
Which area is this? Do you want to divulge, or for security reasons you'd rather not mention?
It's not for security reasons, but I think that the story is a story of many people. Some of the roads in Ghana are just not motorable. They are not roadworthy. I don't even know why sometimes they make us pay for roadworthy, but we can't complain. We are back here.
Yes,
hopefully, others should not be keeping money in their rooms. They should use it to fix the road, hopefully.
They should use the money to fix the road?
Yes.
Even if it's their personal money?
I'm sure $1 million could have fixed my road and fixed it well, but for the house help of Cecilia Dapa, I don't have that road. So we are begging the other ministers
to also release their money.
To release or we should beg their house helps rather to release the monies.
How are they going to release monies they don't own?
Oh, but the house helps. Those who took the $1 million, did they own?
But that's stealing. Unless you're condoning stealing.
The ministers, where did they get the money from?
Well, that's also another questionable act. But I'm just saying that are we condoning stealing from housekeepers?
Thief man. So
anyway, we're expecting Haji Arabi Salifu. She's the Deputy Communications Director for the NPP. She's not here yet. And so if you're in touch with her, let her know we are actively waiting for her. But the conversation is starting. You want it to be a one-on-one?
No, I don't actually want it to be a one-on-one. But recent times, listening to government communicators, they can be very painful. Some of their fine materials have been turned into something else. I mean, there is nothing to defend about this government.
Nothing at all.
I'm sure she's late because her roads are bad. I'm sure she's late because probably something happened, you know, and we can't continue doing this. You have a president who has checked out. Nothing is working. We were having a conversation this morning, and it's a bit depressing to be a Ghanaian in these times. I mean, devoid of politics is a bit depressing, and I think that we can do better. I hope she gets here. I hope it's not a matter of roads or bad roads. So maybe when she gets here, she will tell us.
Maybe so. But this morning, we're taking a look at two very important topics. So the first one would be on the issue concerning former Minister for Sanitation, Honorable Cecilia Dapaah, and the fact that now her situation has taken a different turn because the FBI has joined the OSP to delve into her case and in fact investigate her U.S. assets. And that's a very interesting direction that this is taking, especially on the back of the fact that we're expecting a court hearing today and an application by the Office of the Special Prosecutor seeking to freeze the accounts of Cecilia Dapaah again will be heard by an Accra High Court today, October 12. So the application by the OSP was expected to be heard on October 18, but the court decided to hear it earlier, in fact, October 12, which is today, following an application for abridgment of time filed by the lawyers of Mrs. Dapaah. In fact, they had tried to move it to Friday, so ideally we should have heard it tomorrow. We should be hearing it tomorrow, but the court decided to move it to today. And so there are two matters that will be heard today. One of them would be whether the OSP should still go ahead and freeze the assets of Madam Cecilia Dapaah, including the monies that they picked up or collected in her home. About $590,000 were told, and some $2.8 million as well. So aside that, we'll also be hearing another case concerning Madam Cecilia Dapaah. We're told that it will be heard in the same court by the same judge on why she has failed to declare her assets, even though she was ordered by the special prosecutor to go ahead and do so. But like I said, that turn of events regarding the FBI partnering with the OSP, that information was put out on the OSP's page on social media, where it says the Office of the Special Prosecutor and the Federal Bureau of Investigation, the U.S. Embassy Ghana, have initiated concurrent inquiries into the applications of Cecilia Abena Dapaah, the former Minister for Sanitation and Water Resources, and her associates. These investigations primarily focus on examining their assets and financial transactions within the United States of America. This collaborative effort is to ascertain the lawfulness of Ms. Dapaah and her associates' wealth, both in the context of their funds transitioning from Ghana to the United States and vice versa. Beatrice, you are a lawyer. So first of all, we want to understand, under what circumstances would the FBI jump on a case like this?
Okay, so thank you very much. If you follow the case keenly, the story of the source of money, which is the subject matter of this whole investigation, keeps shifting by Cecilia Dapaah. On one breath, she says that it's a funeral donation. On another breath, she says it's for her mother, her brother. Then, when the OSP invited her for questioning, she indicated that out of the monies that were recovered from her home, $200,000 of that belonged to her husband's niece resident abroad. The OSP indicated that they questioned the said niece, who is called Ekia Dorcas Oredua, and they asked how she got this money, and she said the husband said he got it through remittance. So the OSP went ahead and asked for evidence of the remittance, and they said that, oh, they didn't keep it. When the woman who is this Oredua person was questioned, she said that she brought the money to Ghana cash to be handed over to the husband for some real estate. I think they are into real estate a lot. Nana Ode or Oye Ode, and then now this. Now we all know, you know, this cock and bull stories to us must end. Sometimes people must not underestimate the intelligence of Ghanaians. First of all, you cannot even bring above $10,000 without declaring same. And so for somebody to claim that they carry $200,000 cash passed through the immigration in the U.S., came to Ghana, passed through that immigration.
Was it on just one trip, or did she bring it in bits?
Well, she didn't indicate. She just said that she brought that money to them in cash. So whether it was in bits or it was in bulk, she needed to declare that money on arrival. I have friends who carried as low, I mean, for the purposes of this discussion, as $15,000. When they got to JF Kennedy, those monies were seized. So you can tell that Cecilia Dapaah is not being truthful about the source of the money. And it is because I believe the money is from corruption.
You believe it's from corruption?
Yes, it's from corruption.
How so?
You see, I agree that everybody deserves the right to be heard. When Cecilia Dapaah was invited by the OSP, she had every right to say that I will remain silent, and that would have been her right, not to speak about it. What she cannot do is to be given contrary stories about the sources of the funds. On one breath, that $590 was a portion of the $1 million that was missing.
Yeah.
And she failed to update the police on that. On another breath, the Attorney General, together with some agents assigned of Cecilia Dapaah, says that it is for the dead brother. On another breath, part of the money is for the husband's niece. You know, Bella, the trick even is that she says that part of the money is also from a company she sold called Demake. Now, this company she claimed to be her company, which she sold in 2003. She says she kept the money in the house. You know, redenomination in Ghana was done in 2007. So even if she sold the company for 20 billion cedis then, she will have about 20,000 cedis now. Was she feeding the money? I mean, these cock and bull stories do not add up. And so when you look at all these, you would be left with no other reasonable explanation than to say that this money was got through corruption. Why do I say that? Bella, we live in a country where this morning you are discussing flooding in parts of North and South Tongue. See how it has displaced people, the spillage of the dam, and we empathize with these people. But there is also a perennial issue in this country, which is the Odaw River. Cecilia Dapaah claimed to have desilted that Odaw River with over $46 million. In fact, within that space where she claimed to have desilted the Odaw River, you had more flooding in Accra in those areas than any. So when children die from those flooding, you think karma doesn't work? You think the lives of the people that you had a fiduciary duty to take care of, they lose it? You desilt a river with $46 million at a time when someone was desilting it for free and it was a crime. And some way, somehow, by some miraculous means, your house helps. These are not even family members. So house helps can steal as much as $1 million without her knowledge. You cannot come to any other conclusion than to say that the sanitation minister was not concerned with keeping Accra clean. She was only concerned with keeping her pocket, her home, and her accounts clean. So this, for me, I think is welcome. And that is why the FBI will have a basis, because you see, she's ordinarily resident in the U.S. as well. They claim that sources or part of the money was also from the U.S. And so they have every basis to assist. And I hope that this investigation will serve as a deterrent. We must not encourage a society where there is no conscience. But there is no break to what public officials can do.
But you seem to have judged her even before the investigation is done, because if I listen to everything you say, it looks as if you've passed judgment to say that she's guilty of corruption and she got the money through dubious means.
I haven't passed judgment. She passed judgment on herself, because you see, even if I were a judge, listening to this 4 or 5 different versions of the stories, which one am I supposed to work with? Am I supposed to accept the fact that she sold the property in 2003 when the said company was registered in 2018? So at the time she claimed to have sold the company, that company did not even exist in the records of the Office of Registrar General. Am I supposed to believe the version that her dead brother, who we are told lived like a pauper, so he passed on, all of a sudden owned $800,000 like she's telling us? Am I supposed to accept the version of the story that a certain niece called Dorcas Oredu, a resident in the U.S., sent $200,000 down through remittance by her husband, and from the woman herself, she brought the money cash? Or I'm supposed to accept that those were her certain allowances? Which of these versions? Maybe you can assist me. Because she has consistently shown that apart from her salaries as a minister of state and everything, she had no cash flow. There are politicians who are businessmen, and there are politicians who do not have any business doing apart from politics. She has not proven. You see, the OSP even recently has charged her.
Yeah.
Because if genuinely you got these monies from, I mean, identifiable sources, why can't you even take this opportunity? Because, you know, she also owes us a duty as a public officer to let us know that to the extent that this money has come into the public, oh, the sources are genuine and I can justify it. And so these shifting tongues will leave no reasonable mind to any other conclusion than the conclusion that these are from corrupt proceeds. And you know what? Let's not try to glorify an attempt of public officer. Look at Accra.
Who is trying to do that?
Oh, the justification of, oh, let's not judge her. Oh, let's not do this. I mean, it is not fair.
Okay. We'll just give you a couple of seconds to fix a technical problem, and we'll come back. And of course, our other guest has joined us as well. But while we're having this conversation, let me just quickly remind you that we have a national dialogue today that's happening at the Executive Theatre TV3 premises from 10 a.m. And we'll have Alfred Tuayeboa, the Deputy Attorney General, joining us. We'll also have Joseph Whittle, the Commissioner for SRAJ, Daniel Yao Domelevo, former Auditor General, and Martin Pebu, who is a private legal practitioner. And we're talking about fighting public sector corruption in Ghana and making a case for an effective asset declaration law. We also have our guest joining us, our second guest joining us, Hajia Rabiu Salifu. She's the Deputy Communications Director for the NPP. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Beatrice had already passed judgment even on your roads before you got here. She said the reason you are late is because your roads probably were very bad or something might have happened.
No, that was wrong.
It wasn't your roads?
No.
You have very good roads?
Yeah, very good.
She drives a Land Cruiser, so
she can't feel the bumps like...
See, she's just providing enough creative information.
So what's the reason? Is everything okay?
Yeah, everything is okay. Just the girls.
Oh, you had to take care of the girls.
Yes, yes,
okay,
yes.
we understand. Lovely outfit, by the way. But Beatrice, please carry on.
So I was saying that with the inconsistent story and post-facto rationalization by Cecilia Dapa, we cannot come to any reasonable conclusion because the OSP gave you an opportunity. Fill the forms, disclose the various sources of businesses you have, that you have so much money in your account and you have so much to keep at home to the extent that your house helps in the space of 1 year kept stealing without your knowledge. You should be a very good businessman to be in a position where people are stealing your money without, because me, if you touch my purse, you touch it 5 minutes, you don't even steal some of the money, but you reposition the money in it, I know.
You know, because the money is not much. We're not dealing with $1 million here.
Because it's not up to $1 million. And also because I work for my money. I mean, I have some sort of entitlement to my money. It is a shame. And you know, this pattern is consistent with the behaviors of those in government. Today, almost every government communicator has lost their eloquence when it comes to communicating for their party. How? Because they practically have nothing to show to the people of Ghana. You can imagine that we live in the country that under your government, 850,000 more people have been pushed into poverty. Before you came, the poverty rate was about 25%. Now we are being told that 850,000 more people have been pushed into poverty. And the Minister of Sanitation has $1 million to spare for house helps to steal. And she has 5 different stories to back an explanation as to how she has the money. And we are saying that we should do what? We should be magnanimous because our monies are being dissipated.
But how do you think that the collaboration between the OSP and the FBI could even have an effect on this matter? Because again, we're waiting for the court hearing today to determine if the OSP can go ahead to continue to freeze their assets or not. Now that the FBI has come in, could this have some implication?
It should have some implication because you see, she would be accountable to the FBI. One, if you are ordinarily resident in the US and you have so much money or you are engaged in some businesses, you should be paying some taxes because as long as we know in Ghana, she doesn't have any business. She says that the business she has, she sold it in 2003. And so we want to assume that she has businesses in the US or she has other means. Perhaps that's why she likes the dollars and not keeping the money in cedis. She also says that somebody in the US who is a niece of the husband has $200,000. So that person must also answer whether or not her tax returns in the US will show that she's actually in the position to earn that amount. And it will put a lot of the controversies to rest because you see, with the FBI, I'm sure when she's invited, she will take a lie detector test. You know, the first thing you do, you take a lie detector.
We don't do that here?
We don't. We have those things, but it is only when you insult the president or something that this government.
You have to go and take a lie detector test.
Yes.
I mean, so are you saying that
I represented was somebody who had done something against this government, and he had to go and take a lie detector test.
So all this time that questions have been asked, Madam Cecilia Dapaah, you're saying that there's probably been no lie detector test?
They haven't done anything to her. You see, when the president says that, my dear Cecilia, I'm very confident that you will be exonerated at the end of this. Many of these, the police, the IGP, the special prosecutor, and all these people were appointed by the president. Do you want to tell the president that he rushed? Or that, Mr. President, consistent with your clearing agent tag, this time I'm not going to do something contrary. It is a mark of the failed state we are attempting to create under this government. It is a mark of our institution being compromised by a president who believes that he can have access to any state independent, any state institution and interfere with their independence. It is a mark that shows that if the young people of this country do not stand up and ask and demand for the right accountability, ministers of state in this government will keep stealing. And they will now come and tell us that, you know what, you give us a break. At the right time, we'll come and explain to you.
Okay.
It is something that we should not condone. I don't have so much faith in the Office of the Special Prosecutor.
You don't have faith?
No.
How? The same person who keeps going back
I don't have
to
faith.
Investigate this matter?
I personally don't have any faith.
How can you say that?
Yes, because
why would you say
I
that?
know what I'm saying, and I would wait. And so what I will say is that I pray the Special Prosecutor, proves me wrong.
But you can't make a blanket statement on TV and say that I would wait. There must be reasons why.
No, I don't have
Are these reasons to this so that for people who are watching, because they might want to follow you, should they have a reason to not believe that the OSP...
That on this note, the OSP should prove me wrong.
Okay.
And I hope they do because there are too many shenanigans happening around this case. Because by this time, in a serious jurisdiction, we should find our way clear. You can't do this in the US. And I hope the FBI in 1 week or even the space of 3 months will show us how investigations are done.
You seem to trust the FBI better than your own OSP, which is quite interesting.
But the OSP also trust the FBI.
Well, they're partnering with them, and I'm wondering what could be the reason why, beyond just investigating her assets in the US. But Hajia, do you think that the former minister shot herself in the foot? Because again, the OSP gave her about 30 days to declare her assets, even after all those monies were taken from her home. She's refused to do that. If you genuinely acquire these funds, what stops you from declaring your assets? Because that also proves that then you're not guilty, does it not?
Thank you very much, Bella. And good morning to our viewers. And what do you expect from Beatrice? If she says she doesn't have faith, then you're quite surprised. I'm not surprised, because for somebody who always have rehearsed position of say, whether you turn me left or right, this is where I stand. You can't do anything about such entrenched position. But that is just Beatrice for you. Good morning to our viewers, and good morning to Beatrice.
That means you have faith in the OSP.
Oh, why not?
But we cannot say that your position is rehearsed, but Beatrice's position is not rehearsed. Because you are, you are a member of the ruling party, and so for you, you should trust in the office of the special prosecutor.
You know, we follow each other a lot. Probably not very physical all the time, but I certainly.
I don't follow.
Look, I'm not even saying following doesn't really mean following me around or going on my social media pages.
Okay.
But being part of the discourse and being part of every conversation as a stakeholder in this whole happening, I do follow almost everyone to listen to what you have to offer.
Okay.
That's just what I mean by we do follow each other a lot.
No, but
so
I
if you
don't
choose
follow
not to listen to any other person by yourself, it's your style. But I know it's only prudent to listen to what others do have to say. And I'll tell her I do listen to her, and I know her usual standards.
That's why you say it's rehearsed.
Well,
let's come back to
So
Zia.
let me come.
What is there to hide? Why is she not declaring her assets?
for me, to avoid any form of contempt or prejudicing anything that is happening now, I wouldn't delve so deep in the whole Cecilia Dapa's conversation.
That's what we're discussing.
I will comment on it, but I'm just telling you there are some aspects that I'm not comfortable really dealing with so deep. Now,
Like
my
what, if I may ask?
Yes, if I continue,
Okay,
you
carry
probably
on.
would pick up on that. You see, when you look at, and Beatrice is a lawyer here, the issue of human rights, right to be heard, right to health, right to life, and all that, as they lawyers will tell us, everybody has some level of right. But what I always say, and remember I said it here on this same platform, that look, it is wrong. And for me, I wouldn't in any day justify any wrongdoing. And I know a lot more people in my party, and I know the position of my party and government on this whole issue. Wrong is wrong, that admitted. Now, when we look at she being heard and the hearing that is ongoing, and some utterances that we do pick in the space, some are mostly highly unfortunate, in the sense that, yes, her money has been stolen. But until we get to the end of the road, I'm not too sure if anybody can confidently say the money she made was stolen money or not. And me, that's why I am quite comfortable with whoever comes on the case as a stakeholder. FBI, even if Beatrice chooses to take interest in the case, that would be a good one, because it is about investigation. It's about knowing what exactly the matter is and getting to establish the truth. And to say whether we have confidence in the Office of the Special Prosecutor or not, I strongly believe the Office of the Special Prosecutor is a well-resourced one, very well-positioned and competent one on top of its issues to handle this particular
Well-resourced, or to handle this, because you remember that when he took office, just a few months down the line, he was complaining that there were some things that needed to be put in place for him, and it hadn't been done.
I am honestly talking on current issues.
That's why I asked.
Yes, so
yes,
I am saying on this particular matter, I personally have very strong intuition and confidence in whatever is coming up. We should try to always discourage wrong happenings. And me, whether Madam Auntie Cici or whoever, I always say it. Bella, do you want to even look at this? But for one or two wrong happenings that is coming up currently, one can confidently say that the NDC wouldn't have had any moral right to even talk about corruption in this country. Why do I say so? I think His Excellency President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo is a leader that we all have known in this country, even prior to the election. And we have seen what he went through, communicating his true person to Ghanaians, having Ghanaians who are not NDC or NPP agreeing that yes, this is a man with clear vision, this is a man with clear direction, and this is a man who is on top of whatever he does. You have followed him, I have followed him, unless, of course, those who are not really interested. Now, he has entrusted his faith, his trust in the hands of some who, in one way or the other, are not really living up to expectation. And for me, that is the only unfortunate part.
Like Madame Cecilia Dapaah?
Well, I wouldn't say, because we are not to the end of her case. I haven't gotten any final point that really say the monies that were stolen from her house was equally stolen by her. No, I haven't gotten
But if she
yet.
fails to declare her assets, even when the OSP has given her the opportunity to do so, does it not raise eyebrows? What could she be hiding?
It's good to encourage declaration of assets. And we all know...
It's not good, it's the law.
I'm coming.
Okay.
I'm not saying we are encouraging it. I'm saying it's good to encourage it because that is the law, like you just said. So we wouldn't discourage anybody, and we wouldn't even support anybody that is refusing to declare. What I am saying is that certainly she's in the process. She not declaring it yesterday doesn't mean when we talk to her or when we remind her that this is where we stand legally as a people, you need to do that. But like I'm telling you, in order not to sound so defensive of Anti-Ceci, what I am saying here is that wrongdoing shouldn't be encouraged. And I was just making a point here. We have a president whom, yes, others have chosen not to see the good in him. But what I am saying that who is a statesman, who is a man who has done, who has worked in terms of accountability, who has actually proven beyond reasonable that. And you remember about 13 of appointees who have been sacked out of either alleged corruption or misconduct. And I have names of such for you here. Okay. We all know, and with all due respect, I'm not only calling out those people, but of course this was to prove to Ghanaians that this is where President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo sits, and not the usual clearing agents they would say. We saw his Honorable Bachajoko's case. He got him out of the place because...
But he said that that even was another issue altogether, a very unfair case for him.
Of course, yes. But I'm just telling you, if someone says to say nothing, if someone says to say Nana Addo is just clearing people, we have names and evidence to show that he at some point got uncomfortable with people like Adwoa Safo when she was continuously absent in Parliament.
After a year of holding her position,
Bella,
even when she was away.
Bella.
And you justify this case?
I'm not justified. Let me tell you something. Even if I justify, I think it's fair. You know why? Bella,
why is it fair?
Good. If Rabi comes to sit here sleeping, I think it's not just fair to say, get Rabi out of this place because she dozed off. It's probably good to find out, Rabi, what is the situation? What is happening to you? And Beatrice is a legal person. She would tell you that who alleges must come with what? Proof. And but what I am saying is that if, yes, it took the president a whole year to get her out of the place, the long-term effect would have been that she was finally out of the place and probably was given the opportunity to be heard during that process. So, you may say, okay, 1 year was too much or something, but in any case...
Do you know the portfolio she carried? She was Minister for Gender.
I know, Bella.
That's not a ministry you abandoned for a year.
I know, but have you also
So
heard...
if you say that it was enough to wait for her to give her response for an entire year before replacing her as minister, I think that's worrying.
Bella, you're probably just talking of the duration. The content matters equally.
Which content exactly?
The act or the action taken. What I am communicating to at the moment is the allegation that President Nana Addo Akufo-Addo is a clearing agent. Look, wrongdoing is wrongdoing. And I'll repeat it 1,000 times that, look, I would never defend any wrongdoing. But what I am also saying is that there are times we need to just slow down. Just look at what the reality could be. 1 year, yes, but at the end of the day, she was out of the position. Now, the point I was even driving at is simply that, look, we all, as appointees, ought to live up to expectation. We have technocrats who are also involved in activities that are uncovered. We have politicians who are also involved in either alleged corruption practices or in discipline acts and all that. And even individuals who do not even get themselves involved in the formal sector also doing things to harm the state. What I am appealing here is that if you are given a position as a leader, you should just be fair and realistic enough to know that, look, this is a political party that was given the opportunity to serve the people, that saw the practices done by the previous government. Hence, you shouldn't also copy their tangent or flow.
So in this case, you're referring to what, the NDC?
Oh, there were some happenings that happened in the NDC. And we have issues that all these allegations that are going looks very similar to what would have happened in the
Where
NDC.
a minister had what? $1 million in their house? Was there something similar like that under the NDC?
It's probably not 1 million, but we are talking corruption here. And maybe you just want me to start mentioning the Smarties, the GIDA, the SADA, and the figures associated with that.
So are you equalizing? Is that what you're doing?
Well, you might see it as equalization, but I'm not proud to equalize. You know why I wouldn't equalize? It's simply because we are here to work, we are working, and you know in every social setting, you wouldn't do with the exception of a few that might also drag you backwards. And this is what I am saying. Look, if you find people pointing fingers at you, if you see eyebrows being raised at you, just check yourself. Remember that this is a political party that stands for discipline. This is a political party that stands against corruption. This is a political party that is working for the betterment of the people. And the beneficiaries of LEAP, beneficiaries of free SHS, beneficiaries of Maslow will not be happy with you if you misbehave with this given opportunity to the government.
What do you make of the FBI also getting involved in this matter? Because now it goes beyond just the borders of Ghana. We're talking the United States and some monies that have been mentioned.
The trigger of it is the accounts she has there. The trigger of it is the transactions she is involved in, isn't it? So if that would give us the clarity of the whole show, why not?
Okay.
If that would take us to the promised land, why not? I am only saying wrong is wrong, and this is a moral lesson for everyone. Look, let's remember that we don't have, and Beatrice is here, and she can refer to all the laws. I am not a lawyer, but she can quickly refer to all the laws in this country that we don't have anywhere stated in our constitution or by law that one can't keep $1 million or more or such an account in the house.
But how many of these people have declared their assets so that if we should find $1 million in their home, at least we have some documents to refer to show that they got those monies genuinely?
I honestly don't have the figure to how many have declared their assets. But what I know is that there is a standing practice of appointees saying what they have, and that is ongoing currently.
Beatrice, I'm coming back to you on the issue of why she failed to file her assets. And according to the Office of the Special Prosecutor, per charge sheet signed by Kisi Ejapeng and filed on October 6 without lawful excuse, Cecilia Dapaah has failed within 30 days to comply with a notice to declare her property and income served on her by the Special Prosecutor on July 24, 2023 under Regulation 21 per Forms 1A and 1B of the first schedule of the Office of the Special Prosecutor, which is why the OSP charged the former minister with 1 count. Explain to us, I mean, of course, coming from the legal background, what this exactly means and how, as a person, you can still decide to not file your assets even when the law requires you to do so.
Yeah, it just shows you the level of impunity of government officials. It shows you that they are a reflection of their leader, that they know that their leader has no moral conscience, for want of a better expression, to hold them accountable. And so if you have a former minister who has received a letter, that sounds like a love letter from the president, that, my dear Cecilia, I know you will be exonerated. What do you think is the motivation for her? What would be the motivation for her to fill the forms? Because the president says that whether you feel it or you don't feel it, my expectation is that you should be exonerated. And so when you see these things happening and you hear government praise singers come and say that, oh, the president is not a clearing agent. You see, the president is not only a clearing agent, he is an abettor in the corruption.
You have any evidence to show that he is?
aiding and abetting his officials to dissipate the resources of the state. You see, this president is not only reckless and, I mean, engaged in some form of legacy, the president who flies private jets, even when people don't have beds in hospital, he doesn't care. He wants to bath in the sky. This president cares.
He has stopped flying the
yes.
private jet.
With the IMF, can you be flying? He didn't stop it at will. You cannot be flying that private jet under IMF. So it's not as if he has stopped.
Okay.
He has been asked that you cannot do.
Oh, okay.
Because you must manage your expenditure.
So it's not because of the expose from Honorable Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa as well?
Because even when the expose was going on, he was still flying.
So that expose really didn't have any effect on him?
No, it did. What it did was that it gave us, the citizens, an insight into why a president will use 68 million cedis in 9 months to just fly in the year 2020, even when we were about having COVID. But I'm saying that, you see, when I hear praise singers talk about the president, I ask, is it that they want appointment from the president? Are they really Ghanaians? Or some way, somehow, they are benefiting from a corrupt system that has been created. And so to hell with all of us, as long as a few are suffering. Listen to us saying this president is a statesman. Statesman to which state? This president is the president who signed the amended Ameri-Novation deal, which was so much fraught with corruption, only for us to be told that the president was misled. That in a mythical book, the Ejapadiye, where an Achim mafia from Ofori Penyinfie must have access to the most prized assets of the state, our electricity, PDS, was sold to the friends and cronies of the president with the fraudulent guarantee supervised by the vice president. And you are telling me that this man is a statesman to which state? This man is the man that the special prosecutor described as the mother serpent of corruption. The likes of Sisi Adapa and the rest of the corrupt people, like the health minister and the rest, are children serpent of corruption.
But that's the former OSP's words against the president.
The president copiously referred to him at the bar conference. So the president has accepted the former OSP's report that he is the mother serpent of corruption. At a time when we were dying in this country, that you could not even tell whether when you leave home, you will come back alive or dead. This government had the temerity to steal the monies of this through the Sputnik V scandal. When we were being told, the minister told us that he was not thinking.
So they are not straight, yes.
So they are not only people who take our resources and keep in their home, they also don't think.
Straight.
Let me add that.
So they think, but maybe.
So when we are discussing issues of corruption, let nobody set up the president for attack. If you want, you come and say these things about the president, you are setting the president up for attack. Because if there is any president who has shown that he is corruption personified, he is the locus classicus of corruption, it is Nana Addo. He is the greatest enabler. Look at the Australian visa scandal. Ghana's day of shame. He cleared the people. The Charles Bissiou things. Professor Frimpong Watson said, we'll come there as a second topic, where he told you that even behind your house, galamseys are being dug. They hid the report until somebody leaked it. So which president is a statesman and what? We live in a country where Nana Addo, together with his ministers and all those people, do not have conscience. And Rabbi was saying that the ministers should know that when you do some of these things, you are affecting the Maslach beneficiary. You are affecting the Lee beneficiary. I agree with her on that. That the lives of people are at stake. Today, no woman deserves to die in her quest to bring another life into the world. But the story of a woman is that when you go and give birth and you come, we say uchinkwa, because we expect that because you don't have bed. Look at what is happening at Kolebu, the dialysis. And in the face of all these, you have people who are hoarding resources. And we are being told the president is a statesman. The people who are statesmen, what they do for their nation is that they leave behind healthcare system.
Okay.
What is this government's achievement in health?
How do you expect, let's not go into that because we don't have time, but how do you expect this hearing to go today? Now that you're also saying that you don't even trust in the OSP.
First of all, I don't expect any court to grant an injunction against the OSP from performing its statutory function.
Okay.
Especially when there is no evidence of abuse of any process. Especially when Cecilia Dapa, in her own depositions and caution statements to the OSP, has shown that her statements are very inconsistent and they keep changing at every stage in point. So I don't expect an injunction to be granted.
Okay.
What I expect the court to do is to aid us in coming to a conclusion that the resources of this state has been found in the pocket of some house help through their boss who was a former minister. And like Rabbi said again, it must serve as a deterrent.
Okay.
Because you see, there are ministers of state today whose house helps have also robbed them, who cannot go to the police.
You know that for a fact?
Yes.
You know a few of them?
Oh, yes.
They can't go to the police because of what?
Because of the Lapre scandal.
Why? They're afraid that we'll
Of
now
course.
get into their case
So
as well.
for me, I want to plead with the house helps. They should be doing us justice.
Who are these ministers? That
I
means
will not
condoning
mention-
thievery, and I
No,
don't think that's
that
a
does
good
not
thing to
mean-
say, because
but for the
if you
house-
say they should
wait.
do us justice,
But for the house help,
if your house help steals
So,
from you,
let me ask
would you
you-
say that they are doing
let
you
me
justice?
let me ask you, but for the house help of Cecilia Dapa, when we came to sit here and we kept saying that ministers were hoarding money, you, the media, said you don't have evidence. You cannot say and make these sweeping statements. House helps have given us evidence.
Yep.
We should not make an appeal to
But
the others.
to do what? To continue
To make-
stealing?
to make sure that it comes to light.
How do they
There
make
are
sure?
bosses who are hoarding money. However, they will make sure.
By stealing from their
Oh,
bosses?
they can
I don't
come-
think that
they
that's a
can
fair
come-
statement to
no.
say on TV.
They can come under witness protection.
I don't think it's a fair.
Why?
Okay.
You cannot go to.
So they should go
you
under
cannot-
witness. You are now talking.
Yes.
But if you say that they should
So
do
don't
justice,
conclude for me.
in this case where
No,
Cecilia
they should
Dapa's
do
own
justice.
came out because
Yes.
monies were stolen, indirectly it's as
Because
if you're
she
telling
says
the other
monies
house
were
help.
stolen. The house help says they haven't stolen money.
They said they haven't stolen
Yes.
the money.
They pleaded not guilty.
Yeah, but how did they acquire all the properties that they have?
Well,
All the cars
how did
and
you come to the
houses.
conclusion they stole?
All the cars and
How did
houses
you-
that.
How did you come to a conclusion?
No, but this is a
You
charge
are-
sheet.
No, you are saying that for
we have
Cecilia
seen.
You are
You let
saying
Rabi
that-
come in.
No, you are saying
Hold
that
on.
for Cecilia Dapa.
Yeah, you are saying they
not
should
say
do
that
as-
they are stolen, but the house help.
You
then
are
you can
saying
say
they
she's
should do. No,
stolen.
no, I'm not saying Cecilia Dapa should not see. I mean, it's not been concluded, so I cannot even sit on this platform and say that she stole that money as well. But Rabi, let me bring you in so you respond to this. And how do you expect that this hearing would go today, so we can quickly move on
Bella,
to our next topic?
Before I even go into the hearing, we all were, we sat quietly, and I know our viewers are watching Beatrice. Look, it's okay for a legal, I don't know if she's practicing already, but for a lawyer,
Yeah, she's practicing.
good. To speak to
she
national
mentioned my
issues.
name 9
It's
times
okay.
when she was speaking.
It's okay
This
for
is
her
the
to
11th time.
Allow her. You are counting how many times she's calling you. Allow Rabi.
Because I'm not having a discussion with the ghost. I'm certainly having a discussion with you. And mentioning your name is cool. Of course, Beatrice is not, this is not my first time hearing anybody call Beatrice. So it's fine to mention Beatrice. And if you want me to refer you as this lady, I'll do it if you're comfortable with that. But what I am saying here is that it is nice to listen to people who should know. You are a lawyer. And you sit on national television to encourage stealing.
She says that's not what she meant.
We heard her. We do listen. And I'll always go into my local parlance that, look, that the sayer is the fool, but the listener is not a fool. I will leave it there. What I am saying is here, or what I'm putting across is, it's easy to throw allegations. So easy. And we followed all her allegations, but the proof is a problem. If you are able to prove, then we have no issues with you. So I'm glad that you did ask her that, should we come with you on the proof Do you have some names for us? No, she didn't mention any name. Now, I'm not in the position here to start saying things that I'm not sure about or throwing about allegations. However, I wish to humbly ask her that the hearing of Tracy Boakye, all the allegations Tracy Boakye or around Tracy Boakye and Papa No,
why are we bringing that on this platform?
Should we confidently say, she just alleged, and I'm just asking that the same allegations that are thrown against Papa No, the same allegations that were thrown to Felix Ofosu-Kwakye, the same allegations that we heard about monies packed in car booth at Washington Bay should also be taken serious? Should we take it without proof from a legal practitioner? That is my position. Look, wrongdoing is wrongdoing. It's unfortunate that conventionally, we all agree that we shouldn't keep such an amount of money at home, which is true. But of course, she would agree with me that it is not legally inaccurate or improper. Or nowhere in our constitution says don't keep such an amount of money. Given the fact of what will come out of today's court, I am not a legal person, and I'm proud that I am that social person who reasons and follows happenings in this country. Whichever way it takes, I am very strong, or I'm strongly confident in our legal system in this country.
Okay.
I am very confident in whatever procedures that will be taken. Now, let me give a quick reminder here. The Global Barometer Report by Transparency International is a very public document, and anybody can just go and source it and look at these figures I am going to mention, thanks to RTI, that we passed after 20 decades of struggle. First of all, it says during the report in 2015 that 50% of its respondents agreed that corruption was an extreme, and that was 2015.
Okay.
Now, in 2015, when you look at police service, 92% of corruption rate existed. Today, the same people came back to do the report after a survey or a research and are reporting that 53.2% it was stands when it talks of corruption in police service. I will give the credit to President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo because of the resourcing of the police service he has done, because of the capacity building, the training, the conscientization of police that is ongoing, because of how sophisticated nowadays our policemen are, because of how resourced they are logistically in this country. That has actually come to tell us that they were doing 92% of corruption rate, and today it's unfortunate it's still 53.2, and I am sure that we will even still beat this down because we are breaking the 8. 2, in the judiciary, you can search it. It's 71, or it was 71 in 2015. Today, it's just 22.3%. So what I am trying to say, we don't have so much time. I want to quickly add that of public officials. If you check that,
okay,
it is telling you in 2015 was 59, and you can fact check that, and today is 9.5.
But
now, what I am saying is
let me just bring this
please
in.
Do, please
so
do.
If you look at that report in 2022, it gives a list of the institutions and leaders that there's high perceived corruption. The police topped it with 65%.
So it's not.
And
just
then Office of the Presidency.
You just said 65.
55%. Yes.
Perfect. Thank you. So it granted it's even 65 against 93, my dear. This is what I am talking about.
So that means that you've done better.
I am, of course, yes, because there is a decrease here when you look at the figures. And I am even saying, I know and I'm very certain that we will do more. Because these same people are well-resourced, because these same people are well-conscientized, because these same people are being encouraged to stop corrupt practices. So if they are comfortable to come and encourage young house helps who probably never got the opportunity
she said
to
that's not what she meant. She's not encouraging them to steal.
I wouldn't hammer on that. But what I am saying is that house helps shouldn't go ahead, in my humble opinion, to steal their bosses.
Can we also say that to public officials that
of course, yes,
do not steal the monies that are supposed to be used to develop the nation?
Fantastic.
And when you have to declare your assets, declare it so that we know where you are getting your assets, your properties from.
You are rehashing my opening comments. You remember I said
Which is?
I said it takes both ways. The technocrats and the policymakers or politicians.
Okay.
Now we are talking about public officials. Bella, the 7,000 ghost names we cleaned, though I know NDC did 4,000 in 2016. Now, these ghost names we are talking about, how do they get into the system, Bella?
Okay.
It takes a lot of stakeholders to get that happen, including the technocrats. Some will say largely with the politician. Now, my position this morning is, look, including myself here, and maybe any interested politician that, look, we shouldn't encourage indiscipline.
Okay.
We shouldn't encourage corruption. You see technocrats or public officials who strike deals with people, you hear it's just allegations, and I don't want to really stretch so much on alleging because I don't have proof to them. But if it's indeed true that all these fingers that are being pointed on ghost names, on stealing money, on car boot cash, on EC money, monies that are supposed to be sent to EC that ended up in somebody's pocket, perceived, are true, then all of us should stop that. We shouldn't be doing that to our dear country. Corruption has taken the fight against corruption has taken a global dimension.
And we should fight it.
And we all need to come on this.
How are we fighting Galamsey as well? Because again, and we're moving into the issue concerning Professor Frimpong Boateng, because this week we've heard from the Attorney General, who's advising the Criminal Investigations Department of Ghana Police Service to, drop the case against, all the names that have been mentioned, because he says that there really was not enough evidence to pursue these individuals. How is that so?
You see, for Prof, or is he Dr. Frimpong Boateng?
Professor.
Prof. He's a senior person and he's a leader. I wouldn't want to go in a certain way, but to be measured. But we all know that people behave differently when they are dissatisfied. In the sense that, and you might not know or might not be interested, that this is a person who was expecting to be given an appointment in our second term. That's after 2020 election, and did not get. And let me tell you, we have individual tenacity of soaking pressure. Someone will giggle, someone will smile about it, and someone will fume. Another person will go to an extreme position of using hard words or just throwing out allegations. Now, when you look at this, his utterances, if he has a proof, the police service is calling him, please give us your proof.
He says he's already given the proof. His report alone is enough proof.
If he has a proof, I personally is always solidly standing in for naming and shaming, provided you are comfortable.
He did that in the report.
Names there.
He did that in the report.
You have names
you
of
didn't see the
individuals.
names of individuals that he mentioned?
The names I saw were both NDC and PP.
Okay.
And even when you look at the report, Bella, when you even look at the report very well, the NDC names in that report are even more than the NDC and PP names.
The NDC names are more?
My critical interest.
How many NDC names did you see?
Look, there are more. What
Mention them.
Can I make a point here, please, Bella? I'll come back there. What I am so interested about at this point is simply the president's or the government's approach to fighting illegal mining. Because yes, illegal mining is bad for us. Illegal mining is eating our lands up. Illegal mining is destroying our water bodies. That one, we are all sure about that. However, when you look at the land reclamation project that is undergoing under the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources, it's something that tells you that this government is in afforestation process to help us reclaim our lands. Also, the training and stakeholder consultation that was done with key stakeholders in this area, talking about chiefs, talking about the small-scale miners, talking about citizens or community members in these affected areas, is what tells you that the government cares and the government is working to correct issues. The resources that has been made, you see, the military men that have been taken to our river banks there, they are not just officers in uniform. They are officers who are also sea divers or river divers who can actually go maneuver. Because if you look at even the whole concept of this, the Galamsey thing, these are individuals who master or who know their terrain very well. And given how knowledgeable they are about their geographical environs, it tells you that if you don't put a well-resourced and trained security man, which we have done,
who is the trained security man here?
Oh, the military men we deployed there.
Operation Vanguard.
Oh,
is it Bella, that one? Or which one are you talking about?
Bella, you know all
Operation
the uniform,
Halt,
all the uniform
Halt
men, all the uniform men.
That's were accused eventually of also aiding and abetting in the Galamsey.
You will always find bad nuts. Even TV3 here, sweetheart. You might, and I'm saying might, or you may have individuals that would always take some routes that you wouldn't be happy with. So if there were some allegations, which we are discouraging this morning, is that don't say all of them are not working. And don't say the efforts they are putting there is not worth appreciating.
But did the Attorney General do enough? And I'll just cite one example to ask if he really delved into this matter. Because we talk about the C&J Alaska issue where Mr. Gabio Tredako is said to have called Mr. Frimpong Boateng to tell him that, well, yes, they were lawfully in the forest, even though Mr. Frimpong Boateng says that when they did their checks, they were operating illegally in the forest and they were degrading the land. Now, we don't see any part that says that maybe the Attorney General asked the prosecutors to go into the forest or the investigators to go into the forest to even ascertain the level of destruction, or whether they even went to the Minerals Commission to find out if really C&J Alaska were operating legally, had the right papers, etc. We don't see all that, and then all of a sudden we see the Attorney General say that, unfortunately, you do not deduce or adducing evidence to support this, and so we're withdrawing this case. How is that so?
I'm not even sure about what I really know about that company so much, because I'm still reviewing their happenings, and I don't want to mislead anybody here. What I am telling you is that, Bella, we are making efforts. We have even clustered these communities in terms of putting them in a position of mining. I'm just struggling to recollect the term we have given it, to say, look, we are putting you as community miners. We want you to do legal mining. And when we say legal mining, you agree, you look at the concession collectively, you come for the machines from government and go and continue with what you are doing, because we don't want to lose our lands. Just this morning, I read from the management of Kintampo Waterfalls that is strongly debunking allegations of people who are saying the Kintampo Waterfalls has now been polluted.
It doesn't change the fact that River Pra is polluted.
All
the other rivers are polluted.
I am just saying,
but my point is
dissatisfaction about
but we didn't see, I'll let you come in, Beatrice, soon, but we didn't see any further investigation. So that's why I'm asking that. How then do you come out and say that discontinue the case because there's not enough evidence? And you talk about more NDC people in the reports than MPP.
Bella.
Now, if you look at the reports, let me just mention established miners who are members or sympathizers of the NDC. That's the only part, unless I'm wrong, and correct me if I'm wrong, that's the only part where I see a reference to an NDC.
Have you followed up on his media engagement?
I have listened. I have read the reports. And I'm talking about and saying that at this point is where I see the mention of an NDC person.
You have no idea.
So if you say that even more NDC people than NPP people, if that's the case, that should even be a reason why you should want to prosecute.
So let me come
and investigate further.
Let me come.
Just land on this quickly so that Beatrice can come.
Prosecution is fair. And look, it is only nice to be sure, to have evidence, to have your proof, and the lawyers will tell you beyond reasonable doubt. It's not just a mere rhetoric that it is said beyond reasonable doubt.
So why didn't they go further?
Further? Yes, we can call for further investigation. That is not bad. We can, but if he doesn't have any proof, we are saying he doesn't have any proof, he can go back, bring more proof, and we might come to the same table to talk with him.
Beatrice, do you agree with that?
It's not funny at all. It's interesting.
I keep laughing.
Oh, wow, you have to laugh.
Maybe if she had rehearsed what she was coming to say, she would probably have taken time, one, to read the reports, because it would have featured in her rehearsal. She'll probably take time to understand the issues.
This is just how.
Except that she speaks.
Ravi, please relax. Please relax.
She speaks very good English. She's mastered the art of saying so much, but saying,
that's why she's a deputy communications
saying
director.
so much, but actually saying nothing.
Oh.
You know, Professor Frimpong Boateng is not a roadside man who was handpicked to write a report. Professor Frimpong Boateng was a minister of the sector. And then there was an issue of government officials being engaged in illegal mining. And the media had begun waging a lot of war against Galamsey. So they commissioned the Interministerial Committee on Illegal Mining with the specific terms of reference, and he came out, gave a report, mentioned names of people in the Jubilee House who were involved in Galamsey, and also gave them videos of Galamsey sites that were causing harm to the rivers and our forests. And I say that Rabi has not read the report because nowhere in the report was anybody from the NDC mentioned. I think the NPP should stop comparing their recklessness.
You're saying nobody was mentioned from the NDC?
No, but don't name.
From the report, hold on, let me
mention that.
Let me read this report.
People in the NDC. He didn't mention any name from anybody. The names which were mentioned were names of MPP people who were MPs, presidential staffers.
He mentioned, let me read this. In the Wassa East District, a former NDC deputy minister, who is also MP for the Wassa East constituency, has been actively mining in the Subri forest for years. When officials complained the army component of Operation Vanguard was withdrawn almost 2 years, the NDC was given an advantage in terms of access to resources from mining. This is because there are far more NDC people engaged in illegal mining than MPP members in the region.
So this minister you've mentioned, he didn't say he's engaged in illegal mining.
Okay.
What did he say? He's engaged in illegal mining. Professor Prinfong Boateng made a general statement that in his estimation, he thinks that people in NDC were given leeway in small-scale mining than the NPP. Then when it came to the issue of those who were currently destroying the water bodies, he mentioned Charles Nite, Kotego, and those people who were at the Jubilee House. Those were the names of the people mentioned.
Okay.
So I'm saying that let's not confuse the issue and make it look like, let's rope the NDC into this illegal mining and let's politicize it.
But it's in the reports. That's what I'm asking. Because at the end, he says this is because there are far more NDC people engaged in illegal mining than MPP members in the region.
I wish you had time. When the NPP came into power, there were people who were engaged in small-scale mining, and there is nothing wrong with small-scale mining. In fact, the rationale for small-scale mining was to give Ghanaians who could not mine on commercial basis the right to mine. And so whether NDC or MPP, you can engage in small-scale mining. The concern we have here is illegal mining.
Okay.
And so you can make a general statement and say that they are NDC, MPP people who are engaged in illegal mining. But where the man has gone, further to mention names of presidential staffers, and he says that party executives and ministers who were even part of the committee, that at a point these ministers abandoned the committee because they were engaging. The Attorney General is saying that Professor Prinfong Boateng didn't bring evidence. Is Professor Prinfong Boateng Iyoko or OSP? What evidence does he have to bring? He has to show you that by the fact checks we have made, A, B, C, D are engaged in illegal mining. You have to go and ascertain whether or not the people were the owners of the specific field he had mentioned, the specific areas he had mentioned, whether they had the requisite license. When he mentioned the company that Gabi was loyal to, what did the AG also do about that one? That's one to Professor.
Which is what I was asking
So
about.
that one to Professor Frimpong Boateng must bring evidence of what?
So you expected that they would have gone further to go to maybe the Minerals and Mining Commission,
they have to do the investigation. And I'm saying that this is consistent with a certain pattern of this government. When you do wrong, do not be afraid. When we discuss it in the media for some time, the president will clear you. If the president doesn't clear you, you will get the Attorney General to come and clear you, and that is where it ends. He mentioned names of people that this president has sacked because of their engagement in corruption. What happened to ABAJ when the president sacked him? Mr. ABAJ has his money, all the money he stole from the state, he has it, he's working free and spending it. I'm sure even this morning he's watching us over a champagne that many Ghanaians cannot afford. You cannot continue to build a nation. And let me say that when there is wrong, merely mentioning the NDC to say that the NDC was also engaged in some wrongdoing does not justify it. That is why it is called wrong. And so when you have a Galamsey report today, we were in Asinot recently for the Asinot by-election. Look at the River Pra. When you are transiting from the Asinot to the new Edubiase constituency, it is thicker than Milo. Today, we cannot even show kids rivers. The last time when I was watching Ghana's Most Beautiful, the Volta region rep who won, he said that we have clear rivers. Now, when we are mentioning rivers, we have to add adjectives. Clear
to determine whether it is
river.
clear or
Where
not.
are we going?
Please land for me.
So I'm saying that I don't expect the Attorney General to do anything better. But isn't it Godfred Dami we are talking about? Isn't it Godfred Dami who couldn't file a written submission and Ghana got a 172 million judgment debt?
So you don't trust in OSP? You don't trust in Attorney General?
Yes, because you see,
how will we move forward in handling our cases?
When Sisi Adapa reported the matter to the police, Sisi Adapa said the money was hers. The Attorney General came with an advice that said that Sisi Adapa's money was for the brother.
But he's the same one that asked that the prosecutors go further and even investigate to see if there's any issue of money laundering, etc.
After he has brought the evidence for the accused person.
Okay.
So I'm saying that we live in the country where the president has checked out. We live in the country where the vice president is a complete mess. Our economy is in a mess. We live in the country that when people are engaged in corruption, Galamsey, all they need is the Attorney General to clear them. And so I have no hope that nothing will come. And the Attorney General has said that, conclude it. There is no evidence. It is empty. And you know what the Attorney General further added?
Land for me,
he
please.
said the likes of Eko Ewusi and some other people have not been invited. So the police should invite them to come and write their statement and conclude the matter. What do you think? What kind of proper investigation should come out from this?
Well, we're waiting to see how this matter goes, but we'll have to wrap up at this point, unfortunately.
I can't say my life by.
Unfortunately. Coco, can we give her 1 minute to just wrap up?
If she wraps up, I'll wrap up.
No, but you started. You started. You started.
She came late.
Okay, we have to go. At this point, unfortunately, my director says we have to go. My director says we have to go. 30 seconds.
We are on course. We agree that things might not be right.
Okay.
You are not.
However, we are not just like the NDC.
Okay. We'll leave that for Ghanaians to decide. They are the ones who will know whether you are like the NDC, you are better or worse. But Hajia Rabi Salifu, she's the Deputy Director of Communications for the NPP, and Beatrice Annan Esquire. Ladies, please calm down. She is a member of the legal team for the NDC. And just a reminder, we're cashing out this morning. 2,000 Ghana cedis could be yours. Just play the game *439# and select option 2. But you have to be an MTN subscriber to be able to play this game. So please go ahead and play. But also, quick one. Are we talking about the art therapy, Coco? Okay, so I just need to save the date and come and let's have fun together with our While We Sip and We Paint. The art therapy program comes off Saturday, the 28th of October 2023 at the Airport West Hotel. For just 220 Ghana cedis per head, you get a package that comes with complimentary drinks, finger foods, etc. And you get to paint and release stress. I think that's what it does. So if you are interested, you want to make some further inquiries or you want to go ahead and book, please call these numbers 020-433-9005 or 0501-634238. Come, let's network and let's have some fun. It's happening at the Airport West Hotel. But anyway, good morning to everyone who's watching on Facebook. I couldn't read your messages. I saw one that says we should all go and declare assets because the way things are going, I'm not a politically exposed person. I don't hold public office. They don't have assets there. We have more coming up. Please don't go anywhere. We'll be talking about breast cancer, but let's cash out. I think I'm ready to give some money this morning. And so could it be you? Let's count down now. 3, 2, 1, and congratulations going out to you. 0244-784***. 0244-784***. Do we play another one? Congratulations to you. Coco, do we play another one? Okay, well, we'll come back and play some more, but you've just won 2,000 Ghana cedis, and I'm sure subsequently we'll call you to celebrate you live on TV. We'll be right back.